welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the 3R Ultimate Racing League out on Zwift, round number 4. Now, in this racing league, we got a points classification as well as a general classification. We got 57 seconds to go, and we are out on the Leith Hill after party. Now, it's going to be a pretty flat race up front, but after that, we've got about a 10-minute climb. The KOM itself is going to be about 6 to 7 minutes, and it is an all-out brawler. The last time we were out on here with some serious racing out on here, we actually saw this exact racer I just saw jump into the pens, actually. We're looking at Dan Fleeman, I believe it was. Well, we just swapped avatars really quick here. But Dan Fleeman, Dig Deep Coaching was out there last time battling it out in the Fusion ECT. We'll jump back in with the racing in just a moment, 18 seconds. I got alongside of me today for co-commentary, Mr. Alex Falk. Rasmussen. Alex, what is going on? Good to have you on the broadcast and looking forward to some crazy racing. And it looks like it's Team Callis mainly at the front end of the classifications right now.
Yeah, Team Callis has been dominating. And in general, we've seen a lot of Norwegians get onto Zwift and be really on the forefront of things going on. So it's pretty impressive for a country of 5 million people to be that good on Zwift. Like we saw the Norwegian champion, Vidar Mehl, also been dominating a lot of different leagues on Zwift recently. So it's exciting to see some of my Scandinavian brothers up there in the front.
Yeah, very, very cool. Callis, definitely a team to be watching out for. They have shown themselves to be extremely, competitive. They're a new team. Obviously, we've said this many times, but those who are unfamiliar, they came out of the KISS Racing team and have broke off specifically to form this new esports specific focus team, and it's great to see them out there showing up to all the big races and throwing down to put their names out there. So Morten Vang there, you are seeing the Norwegian 5.6 watts per kilogram making his way to the front, it looks like here, looking to take over. It's going to be about control, I think, up front in this race. Really mainly going to be a control the pack, maybe try and loosen up the legs a little bit of some of the riders out there, but mainly looking forward to the Leith Hill after party climb.
Basically, the start is probably the hardest section until you actually hit the Leith Hill climb. So it's about being ready from the beginning, because we got a couple of small kickers here in the beginning of the race until they go onto the mall, and then it's mainly just flat all the way into to the bottom of Leith Hill.
Yeah, we have a couple of comments already coming in about Leith Hill and how incredibly difficult it is, as we do have Andrew AJG. It's good to see you. Hang out on the broadcast. We're live, as always, over on Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Go ahead and throw your comments into the chat. We can follow along with them. We'll bring in those that are relevant and have a little fun with chat. As we're going to have a lot of time to chat here with chat. Let's go ahead and, as things roll out onto the roads of London here, as we watch, it looks like we've got 69 here we are seeing in the pack right now as they head through the underground here and along the River Thames in just a moment here. Lots of the top riders here. Evoke has shown up on the day, another team to be watching out for. Adam Zimmerman saw a post out on social media of his in real life mountain biking, actually, from the Break Epic. It was a cool little video. Go ahead and check him out on Instagram there. Motivated me to maybe check out some of those trails, maybe get involved in the Break Epic, actually. But it looks like Zimmerman, in real life mountain biker, top he was elite racer, now turned pro, just got his pro card on the mountain bike, actually. So good to see him jumping into the race and the broadcast. As far as the classification goes, though, gender classification, we are seeing Callis at the top, like we said. Martin Rose Omdahl currently with 3 races in the general classification with a 2-second. Now, this is being run. This is interesting, Alex, how this is being run. It's different than what we usually see with the points classification. It's actually being run on time.
Yeah, that's really nice to see. I think a lot of people have been requesting that. So it's like a real life stage race. That's kind of cool to see, actually. And if you could throw in a time trial there as well, it's going to be a real cool thing for the future of Zwift, if you could do some more stage races based on time instead of just points.
100%. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to something like this based on time. Now, 1:56:32 is the current time for Martin Rosalmdal. Kristen Oftedal there, 2 seconds back. That is from Team Callis with 34 at the 34-second mark. So 1 hour 56:34, tied with Steen Lersveen actually from that Vikings team. Now, one of the kits actually that we have not been able to show off in game until today, and that is going to be the Vikings kit that they were able to grab and throw in game. So good to see the Vikings there with Karstensen that we're looking at here at the front end of this group right now. Now, team dropouts making the way to the front here. That is going to be Cunningham right now. Made about a solid 4.6 watts per kilogram coming from him. So TFC now to the front as well. Nobody really going to be making too many moves. This little climb, though, this little puncher may give an opportunity for somebody
Yeah.
to try and get away. You know, with how long this lead out is going to be on the flats, perhaps they might let something go a little bit with the confidence it would come back and not waste too much energy.
This is definitely the only chance. That's why I'm saying the first 4Ks is where you want to be paying attention. But I don't see anybody going solo from here. There's a bigger risk that you're actually not paying attention and you just lose 10 seconds to the peloton, and then you're pretty much off the race. So we see a lot of what is being put out in the front here. So somebody Hodges seems like you want to go away already, but it's going to be a long way to go from here.
Actually, Brian Hodges here, one of the strongest sprinters we know of out on Zwift. I'm not sure he's got the climb to match some of these racers out here. Might be a good move here from Hodges to try and get away. We'll see if he can make something happen. Evoke, maybe throw a couple out there, or perhaps we could see Dig Deep coaching. Maybe there's a little bit of a between the racers. Look, 3R going. Hugo, as you can see here. Now, this is the kind of moves you need to make where you do not drag the group along. 7 watts per kilogram is exactly what needs to be done. Hodges, Team Evoke, the also newly launched esports team here out of the US of A. Now, with 5.1 watts per kilogram, teammate Adam Zimmerman, he's going to be the climber, I think, living in the mountains. That's going to be sitting in just a little bit. Karstensen here, only 4.5 on the front. Now, bumping it up with the Vikings now, putting a little effort in here. Now, Button going to the front there as well. So, Vikings may be saying, look, we got to do something here, but if the move is going to stick, they're going to have to hold a solid 6, I think, for a while.
Yeah, they do, and then they're gonna hit the bottom of Leith Hill with the high rate, and the Indians pretty much exhausted. So even if nobody's taking up the chase, like controlled chase, I think just the speed of the peloton is such a big group. It just keeps building up speed, so the momentum just catches people back, unless you have like a really big group going away.
Yeah, so Hugo here, 5.8 watts per kilogram. Evenson, only 2 seconds is the difference here. We'll see if they give up on this push here, but it doesn't look like they're going to do so anytime soon. Snagopus from Cryogen down, closing things down pretty quickly here. And it looks like that attack is going to be brought back into the fold here at this point. So good to see Christopher R. Vigna over on the Facebook. Let's go ahead and go through a couple of our chat messages here while we get back into some of the flatter sections of the London course. Good to see everybody. Let us know what your predictions are going to be out there. You can go ahead and see everybody that's in the race, as well as the general classifications over at zwiftpower.com right now. Good to see Christopher hanging out. Duns van der Bank, good to see you. And he's asking how far is the race is going to be. 42 kilometers on the day here. Thanks a lot for the question. And we do have Mark Swatton, who is one of the race organizers with 3R, saying that it's going to be both time and points leagues. Yes, so the time currently for the top 3, 156.32 for Martin Omdahl, and then Oftedal there with 156.34, 156.34 with Lersveen, and then the Vikings actually almost all tied there, all the way through 6th place, 5th place. BRT chasing it down there with Hywell Davies there. Only a few seconds really separating the top 6 to 7 riders, though. But thanks a lot to the 3R guys for putting things together. Also, a shout out to next week, Time Trial Stage. So make sure to be around for that and jump on into it. We are hearing from Christian Moat here. Good to see Moat jumping into the broadcast and saying he was equally horrible twin brother of the Keith Hill. And I'd have to agree with him. Leith and Keith, I think it's more difficult than Box, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but they're just so long, Leith and Keith. So I think it's just demoralizing, especially if you're like me and you get dropped at the bottom of the hill. It just seems so long. So that's why probably a lot of people don't appreciate them too much. I actually much prefer the shorter and steeper climbs where you can just kind of kick it over.
Yeah, I'd have to, I'd agree with you until maybe 2 months from now, and I'll be in full climber mode. But for right now, I'm with you. I'm with you until I start doing my Watopia Mountain Hill repeats. I'm with you on just a little bit shorter. Now, the stage 4 though of that Tour de Zwift definitely had quite the kicker right in the middle of it on that Italy course, man, and was absolutely suffering for sure. Did you? Speaking of Tour de Zwift, were you able to jump out on the Tour de Zwift and get any of that done?
Yeah, I've been doing all the group rides, none of the races actually, just the group rides. I just want to get some time on Swift, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I much prefer like the bigger groups because there's always somebody. If you try to stick with the front group and then you get dropped, there's always a group coming from behind. So you're never going to be out there alone on Swift.
We are getting a couple of comments coming on through. It does look like Leon Van Eyck coming on through here saying, first time watching a Swift race. This is pretty awesome. Thanks a lot for jumping into the broadcast with us here, Leon. Always good to have new viewers hanging out. We are live over on YouTube, Twitch, as well as Mixer too. If you guys want to bring in your comments, or if you're unfamiliar with those streaming platforms, head on over. You can find us, Zwift Community Live, over on those platforms as well. Adam Zimmerman, we're watching here from Evoke. His teammate Pantalleri is in here as well. So Evoke definitely with some focus here. Looking through the series standings as well as the points.
Look at the peloton; it's really stretched out.
It's extremely stretched out, actually, Alex. What is happening here?
Yeah, somebody was going off the front, and this is really stretching it out. I noticed some guys were like losing the wheels, and this is a section of London where you normally don't see the peloton that stretched out. So it's interesting to see that they actually want to give a little more throttle here in the beginning of the race. Although there's a lot of people saving their legs, like Morten Bang from Team Callis is definitely saving his legs for the bottom of Leith Hill. And just a quick shout out to Team Callis. Also, they have the racing league coming up next Thursday, so it's going to be exciting to watch that. So tune in for that one.
Yeah, watch out, everybody. There's been a lot of posts actually on the socials recently. Team Callis has put together a new cup racing that is on Thursdays. We'll be live here on Zwift Community Live, exclusively covering that, I believe. So make sure to, we are for sure. The exclusive part is the part I believe, but we'll go ahead and jump on into that broadcast on Thursdays. We'll be here covering that as well, and they've put a lot of work into it. It looks like to make it a very solid racing series. So got a couple of who do you think will win the race? I believe Team Callis will win with their riders, and that's a good prediction. I mean, they've been absolutely dominating Ryan Carter, absolutely dominating this series so far. At the top of the points classification by 6 points though only. Rolandus Balkis actually, followed by Alan Hoy from BRT. So that's your top 3 currently in the points classification. A little bit different, obviously, than the time overall because from day to day, it's going to change up with that time gap differences, not just placings as you come across the line. So interesting to see the differences between points classification and time classification on it. Now, I wonder if this will cause the community or those who do the series to request to have both. Alex, or maybe say, well, which one did they like better, and then hold on to whatever they like better. I get the feeling that they're gonna like the time better, personally.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that from the cycling world are used to the time, so it just feels I don't know, more familiar for a lot of people. So I think people want to test it out, but I still think it's just going to be, there's just something missing to do the time still. I think the points is still a better format at the moment because the times is just going to, it could be one guy like leading with 2 minutes and then there's basically nothing you can do for the rest of the race. It's not like a real stage race where you can actually put in some early attacks and go away, and it's a 6-hour race. So there's going to be some differences, but it's nice to see both, just to see what are the differences between the point and the time system.
Now, this is interesting. This long flat before we come over the bridge here. Interesting to see that we got this attack going on, actually. It is actually Snagglepuss from Cryogen along with one of the 3R riders that are off the front. They have a 2-second gap at this point. Let's go ahead and see if we can grab it from our other feed here. And it does look like they are able to bring this, get a little bit of a breakaway here at this point. It's BH here from the 3R team there. Now it's coming across here. It's going to be Loka out of South Africa. Very strong move right now. And VH with the 4.2 watts per kilogram gets brought back here, but it's loud. This rider likes to attack. I mean, it is non-stop from him a lot of times, over and over and over again. He was the most aggressive rider in the last race I think that we covered together, but maybe not the confidence that he would like in a climbing situation, so wants to try and make something happen early.
Yeah, I think we see that a lot of the heavier guys try to go away, and it's usually futile to go away, especially here when you have a big peloton and everybody's just sitting on. And it's not like it's a short hill, Lethal. It's a really like 7-8 minute climb. So even if you had, let's say you have 1 minute in the bottom of the climb, even that is, I wouldn't say that's enough. So you really need to create a breakaway with like 4 to 6 riders and work together, and then actually still have something left in the tank when you hit the bottom of the hill.
Oh man, we're getting a couple of comments coming on through here. Rolanda, and I always get this on my second name. You wanna give it a go here, Alex? Because I said Biel. I don't know what I said the first time through.
I'm gonna say Rolanda's Bilskus.
Bilskus. He's probably got that way better than me. For some reason, people from your area of the world can say every last name. Now, can you say my last name? That's the question. You probably heard it enough times that it doesn't even matter. But we've got a group of 3 off the front here. See, oh my gosh, Guerra. All the Spanish speaking in here just always roll their eyes, but it's fine. We'll give it to you here. Snaggle Plus here now, 6.6 watts per kilogram off the front right now. Lau along with Golev. 9.9 here coming from GR though. GR trying to make something happen, it looks like, to come across and maybe have a group of 4 here. It's a very solid attack here. Good timing on this. Actually here coming from the riders. They may be able to hold on. As there is a 2-second gap now between some of the Vikings that are trying to go with this here, actually. So here is another group that is trying to go across. You can see just ahead it is going to be Low being brought back. Well, actually not being brought back, being joined by GR here at this point. Barry from the BRT team here. 8 seconds back. They're kind of letting this gap go. This is 4 riders now. One of the Vikings involved here. Golev is in there. And as far as the overall general classification at this point, I'm going to take a quick look. And Golev is actually sitting in 9th place, 1:57.09. That is going to be a solid 40-second gap that he needs to make up. So Golev is a threat on the overall here that maybe Callus might start thinking about to try and bring back in, but it is a long way to go from right here, and there's still a lot of bodies that can really make something happen.
Yeah, we were just talking about that you need at least 4 to 6 riders, and then now we have the 4 riders, and if they can actually work together, they could create a gap. But we also, like we discussed, you need a minute at least, and I still don't think that's enough. So I don't think there's any panic in the peloton. I think they can actually let him out to 30 seconds. Like if you want to take some of the tactics from the World Tour, they would actually let this break go up until 1 minute, because they know they have a 7 to 8 minute hill coming up. And if you had a climber sitting in the peloton, you would just basically watch out for that, protect him, and then bring it back just before the climb, or just in the bottom of the climb, and he would just catch him, no worries.
Do you see the attack here, though, from the BRT team? They want to get involved, and this is an interesting situation because they're going out from the main group here at this point. BRT on the front there. You do see Seldrick as well trying to make an attack here now. And then it is going to be the VH from 3R. They're also toward the front. It is still a 5-second gap, but they have to have some pretty serious continuance here at this point. The group and the pack here making this chase, they're getting a little anxious because I think they can tell that there are some riders that may see this as an opportunity to try and go across. Dan Fleeman really controlling things at the front end of this group here at this point, though, and the red and black kit, as you can see at the bottom of the screen right now. Brooke there from Vision now taking over with one of the 3R riders now at the front. Richards here as well, 3R now. So quite a good rotation here 4.2 watts per kilogram though. Back in with the leaders now. They're going back with the 5 seconds, and they have the continuance here in this main group with that 6 watts per kilogram on the front. So definitely able to hold on to this gap, but it is still only 5 seconds. They've got a lot of work cut out for them yet in order to hold on to this. But very nice to see some sort of attacks. Yeah. The racers make the action for the broadcast a lot of times, and always welcome to see on these flatter sections to see some aggression and make this a little bit more interesting for us before we do hit that Leith Hill after party.
Exactly. We love to see some action here on the flatter section because we're probably not expecting that much. But what's really interesting to watch is, like, I'm looking at the heart rate of these 4 guys. They're all at 170 to 180. And then I'm looking at, like, Oftedal and Morten Wang from Team Callis, and they're sitting in the 130 to 140s. So it just shows how big a difference it is from sitting here in the breakaway to sitting in the peloton.
Yeah, looking here, Dan Fleeman, one of the favorites I said before the race here, and Fleeman 150 beats per minute. He was even on the front there for a moment too, and so definitely plenty to work with here still. Now dropping the heart rate down to 155, 4.8 watts per kilogram currently. It does look like they're bumping up the speed just a little bit off the front here. 43 kilometers per hour currently from the main group right now, and this strung out lead group here, 43 kilometers per hour, so matching as best as they possibly can, or even trying to walk away a little bit. They've almost gone out to 10 seconds again, and the main pack maybe starting to give up a little bit more of a gap here at this point. It's interesting to see how they are interacting. Oh wow!
So only 3 riders left.
Must have been an insane pace if at this point they've already lost a rider here. Goliv here, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Who has gone off the back here of this group? It does look like it is going to be. Is it actually low? It's actually low out of South Africa. The most aggressive rider, we said, the one who kind of instigated all this, finds himself off the back after attacking, it looked like, over and over again.
And I don't think it was dropout. I just think he was in the hurt box. They were just really pushing it up the mall, where it's like a 1 to 2% gradient. So I just think he was hurting, and he was just like, I'm gonna go back to the peloton and sit on for a little bit. So now there are only 3 riders left, and it's gonna be even the chances of them sticking to the bottom of Leith Hill is gonna be much less now.
We are starting to see that it is going to be BRT now on the attack here. That's what 7 seconds looks like to those Tron bikes up ahead. BRT trying to make something happen again. It is going to be Seldenrek here now, and then it's going to be Dig Deep Coach making his way to the front. And they are really doing everything they can. Team Poland here, well, the Team Poland kit, interesting enough, coming out of Spain. With the flag there, but it's going to be Utters here from Team TFC that's leading things out with the main pack as they're about to take the left-hand turn into the underground again in just a moment now. TFC now making their way backwards here, it looks like, back into the pack, and it is 5 seconds, though, between the group that is off the front here. They really are doing everything they can to hold on here. Ashton, WTRL, though, is on the attack on the front, really up and out of the saddle, 8 watts per kilogram, getting a little bit of a gap here. They keep on getting these little bits of meters, but are unable, it looks like, to really work with it. Now he does go across, 4.8 watts per kilogram. Hugo's almost back on the wheel here, and it looks like he's going to drag the pack along with him rather than actually keep this this group away.
Yeah, it looks like it's shut down now, and they have to mix the cards up again for the next attack. Now they go down through the tunnel, and there's a little kicker coming out of the tunnel, but then we have a long flat section again, so it's going to be interesting to see if anybody want to go, because we've seen, even with 4 riders, it wasn't enough. So I would just, if I had anything left in the tank, I would just sit in the peloton, relax the legs as much as possible until the bottom of Leith Hill.
Now that was an opportune time, though, to maybe counterattack after all the chasing there. But as you did say, look at the Goliv here, 155. We're looking through at some of the other favorites here, far up there from the Vikings team, 141 beats per minute. I mean, the reality is, even with a 10 to 15 second gap, if somebody in this group wanted to just go across, full on, all out attack, go across, their heart rates are low enough that the reality is that they could put in that kind of an effort. And that kind of an effort is most likely at this point really being saved for the Leith Hill attack. But Hugo now Hey Hugo, race 3R. He's been very active so far. There's an attack off the front here coming from him. It is a solid 7 to 8 watts per kilogram momentarily. Gets a little bit of a gap. These little uphill grinds, these little bumps, they are good little sections to try and get these gaps, but then it's going to be about consistency and maybe egging somebody on to come across. Cunningham there from the dropouts team, sitting toward the front there, pushing 5 watts per kilogram. Brooks, though, on the control here, it looks like, with that vision kick, looking to just keep everything together. And looking back at the back of the pack here at this point, how many riders have actually made the main group is going to be the question. Has there been anybody that suffered because of any of these pace changes?
I think for sure there's been people dropped, and that's the only thing with all these changes of paces, that people are getting tired and dropping off the back. So it's more elimination race than actually the breakaway is sticking. So when you try to create a breakaway, you just drop a lot of riders in the back, and normally you come back, as we see here, and it's just the momentum just to carry the speed over in the peloton. Even if they're not trying to chase, you just see them sitting at 47, 48, sometimes 50, and there's nobody to chase right now. So that's just the momentum of the peloton.
Looking at the front now, it is going to be the Vikings, though, taking over, keeping things fairly calm. We have, it looks like, an ETA on the day here. Now, these are some pretty cool stats that everybody can go ahead and check out for yourselves over at ZwiftPower.com. Really quick, some information to relay to those who are just tuning in for the first time. We're actually seeing a lot of people saying first time watching their racing, first time tuning in. Good to see everybody that's jumping in, that's new to the world of this. A little bit of hype here coming through from Alexander Lexi Lightning. Always good to see Alexander in the broadcast, giving some BRT hype. Highwell for the win. Richard Law is saying, just stumbled upon this for first time I've ever seen. Great to watch today, Richard Law. Thanks a lot for jumping into the broadcast. Appreciate you being here. Though, because we do have a lot of new viewers, it sounds like, and a lot of new people jumping in and unfamiliar maybe with how racing works out on Zwift, especially for these community organized races like 3R that we're seeing, like the Callis Cup, like we're seeing with the Fiats Magazine, as well as Hino Cup and those others. The way that this is organized is through ZwiftPower.com, that if you do want to be registered in the races and want to have your result count in the races for the organizers that put it together, you need to go to Zwift.com, log into your account at Zwift.com, and allow ZwiftPower as a third-party app that's online to collect your information through the backend API, through Zwift's backend servers. At that point, all of your information then is shared for each one of the races, each one of the events with ZwiftPower.com. And from there, you are able to be a part of the race results. ZwiftPower.com, you can head on over there, see the live event right now. I believe it was a featured event there, or a priority event at the top, but you can see all the events, all the group rides, and all that over there as well that are happening out on Zwift. And you can go ahead and update your profile, join teams. There was actually a question, Alex, that was really great in the chat that I saw, asking about where you can see information about the teams. And ZwiftPower has done an amazing job of organizing all that, actually.
They have, and just with a quick warning, with ZwiftPower, it can be quite addictive with all the racing, because you can really get addicted to the different leagues, and you just gotta participate in them. I've seen a lot of guys start on Zwift, just want to train 1 hour at home, and then they do one race, they do 2 races, and then they're in the Zwift League, and now they're doing like 3 different race series and race leagues, and they just want to keep going, so it can be quite addictive. But another cool thing about ZwiftPower is just the amount of stats you have in there. I've been advocating for the federation, especially my federation, the Danish federation, to use it as a recruitment tool, because you basically have every single stat for every rider, their weight, their height, and their 25 1-minute power and 15-second power. So you can actually kind of select them even before the season starts, because you have the whole winter, you can actually get the data in, and then you can pre-select like say under 19 riders that you wanna groom for the World Championships.
That's a really good point, actually. The amount of data that is in there that you are able to work with specifically for different areas of the world and different teams like that are absolutely amazing tool that we have here with all the data that's available at our hands. A newer user, it looks like, over on Facebook, saying this is enjoyable to watch. Would be helpful if the screen would show how much distance was left in the race. Helps to understand the tactics. It goes on to say, and I have to agree with you 100%. That is a Zwift UI situation. We were actually me and Alex were having, we agree. The commentators Agree 100% with you that the races, specifically, especially for a broadcast mode, would be awesome to have. Obviously, we do see that on the Tour de Zwift and the Zwift productions, but currently with the in-game client that we do have, we do not have that ability right now. This is the comment that did come through specifically that was on, is it possible finding rankings of the different Zwift teams? And you can find the rankings for the different Zwift individuals. That is a great question. Do we actually have a team ranking on ZwiftPower.com? And if we don't, I know a certain individual that just heard that will probably be like, hey, maybe I'm going to go write that tonight. We'll have to wait and see if the cake is the lie gets right on top of that. But that is actually one of the questions I do not have the answer to. Do you know if they rank against each other for the teams, Alex?
I actually thought that I thought they did, but now when I hear the question, I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure, but I thought they did because there's so much information on Zwift Power. I was pretty sure they had that covered as well.
Yeah, great question coming through. You most likely be able to find it by just heading over and clicking around a little bit, actually. So, Robert, hey Nathan, thank you, and 3R for bringing these to us, Robert. No problem. You are appreciated. Hope to see you out on the races pretty soon. All right, we do have an attack here going off the front. We're looking at the pack here, but there is a response immediately here coming from the Team TFC riders, actually. But this is the GoLive. Actually, GoLive, interesting to see that GoLive's going off the front. 5.2 watts per kilogram. Hodges is going with him. This is a serious attack. These are two of the strongest riders we have in the pack here. Not sitting and waiting for anything. BRT with Bond trying to go across here. Higginbotham is there from Team Type 1. Cartledge there from Innovation. Carstensen then right on the wheel as well. Things getting a little bit spread out. Now we got 4 going away. The meters are there. Cartledge is working with it here now. It's going to be GoLive with now Snagglepuss looking to go across. 3R now responding very quickly here, and we've got still a full lap around this same section of course that we just came through on these flatter sections and then into Leith Hill. And people are getting a little bit anxious here, as you can tell. Nobody really wanting to sit in too much. And, you know, at a certain point, you're starting to feel fresh. You're looking like, come on, let's try and make some moves here. And that's exactly what is happening. But it gets shut down pretty quickly on this section, of course. A difficult section to get away on.
Very aggressive racing, and you're correct. It's like you're sitting in the peloton, and it's like, oh, this is too easy, and then you just want to test your legs. And I think that's what we're seeing. People just going over the top, trying to counterattack some of these attacks. But I think if we want to see a breakaway stick, I want to see one from Viking, one from BRT, one from Callas, and maybe one from Evoc, like Hodges or something. And that would be a good break, because then most of the peloton won't chase them.
That is a great call, actually, because that is all of the main teams, but they're going to have to get organized. They have to organize between each other that they need to do this, or start sending a few off the front and see if they can get that many involved. But if they do get that many involved in a breakaway situation, that could stick. I would not disagree with that whatsoever. Now, as things are kind of calm at this point, and I don't think we're going to see too many attacks until we actually hit them all in just a moment here, and then head back into the flat seconds for the final time, and then up over toward Leith Hill. For those of you who might have missed the race, the Fiat Magazine race earlier this morning, it was one of the most epic races I have ever seen out on Zwift by far. Let's go ahead and we're just going to take a quick look at the replay of the final. Well, I don't know if I want to upset it. You know what? I was going to show you guys the replay of the finish. I'm not going to show. Should I show the replay of the finish? I don't know. I kind of want to leave it up to you guys to go watch what happened. But if you missed the race this morning for Fiat, I'm going to leave it as a cliffhanger. I was about to show the replay, but now I feel like I'm ruining it actually for everybody. If you missed that race this morning, I am not kidding you, everybody. It was the coolest thing I have ever seen happen. One of the coolest things I've ever seen happen in a Zwift race. Full on beast mode, and how it turned out, you'll have to wait to see the end. Go check it out. It was now here's the other cool thing about it is it was a live event. So it was an arena event in Amsterdam, a full-on esports situation where riders were together in the same space, same trainers, all battling it out against each other. And we'll just say there was a what's the in real life example almost? First corner cyclocross race. Who recently we saw with oh come on Nathan, I'm totally blanking right now on names I should not be blanking on. Alex, help me out here.
Which race are you talking about? You're saying that the guy that crashed in the beginning and then he just came back through the peloton and then he won.
Yeah, the guy, the strongest athlete in all of cycling
Vanderpool.
right now.
Vanderpool.
Vanderpool, thank you very much. Vanderpool.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
It was like a Vanderpool situation in that cyclocross world circuit recently, where he was literally last place, rode through the entire peloton of racers out on rode through the entire field and ended up coming through it the first lap in first place. I mean, it was that kind of an effort. Just so you guys know, make sure to go check it out. So, looking through here at the comments coming on through here. Thanks a lot, appreciate that. And Andrew AJ Jeans. Yeah, I was blanking. Nathan has a lot of information and production's always going on in front of him during these races. So once in a while, if Nathan's blanking, you can't blame him, I don't think, as we run through everything here. And no, don't leave it for people to watch. It was Ryan Carter's already spoiling it all. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we will show it at some point here. It was an amazing sprint. Maybe we'll accidentally throw it out there. GR here though, Spain. Now off the front again. He seems to like this section of the course in the Team Poland kit. Roos now. I do not believe GR's on Zwift Power. We were being told that perhaps he is not, so they may not chase this. As I'm looking through the live standings right now that are updated, I don't believe that they'll be chasing GR down. He's getting a little TV time here, but Carstensen and the rest are saying, nah, we'll let that go. Not a lot of interest here. And that's kind of a gentleman's agreement almost sometimes, Alex, when they know that something's not going to count perhaps. Might be, you know, that the other riders say, well, we'll just let that go and leave it alone.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That sometimes we just let them go if they have no influence on the GC. But like we see, he's coming back quickly, and I think when one guy goes away, especially on Leith Hill after party, like we were talking about earlier in the stream, it was just you need so much time, and like you can give me 3 minutes, and I'm still gonna get caught by this bunch here. So it's just saying how hard it actually is to sell.
Yeah, it is a very difficult ask to try and stay away from this kind of quality. I mean, this is about as fast as it gets out on Zwift between these riders here. So taking the left-hand turn over on to the flatter sections of London, the Greater London Loop here for the final time, and then they are going to head on over toward Leith Hill with that right-hand turn into the underground. Just a few, probably about, I think we're about 5 maybe minutes away from the turn into the underground, and maybe about 7 to 10 away from the actual start of the climb. We're looking at 53:04 for finishing time or so. So the finish of the race should be right around a little under 20 minutes from now. Make sure to share things up here for the broadcast. Let your friends know if you have somebody in the group here that you are watching and cheering on. Always helps with the broadcast to get more people aware of what is going on with Zwift Racing. A lot of people don't even know that this exists and that it is going on. So make sure to let those know who might be interested in watching their favorite racers out on Zwift in this virtual world. That's one of the coolest things, is the connections that are made internationally. All the country flags here on the right-hand side of your screen is where each of the riders are from, or what country at least that they are representing out on course here, along with their team names on the right-hand side. If you've never seen this before, TT1 there, Team Type 1 with Higginbotham here. Then we are seeing with the V there from the Vikings team, so you can kind of see who they're representing alongside the kit that they do have in the game. But very international field we're seeing here today, Alex.
Yeah, that's I love seeing. I especially love seeing when we have from the States, on North America in general, and then we have Australians and New Zealand, and then of course we have Europe. When we have those three nations in the same race, it's always, I love that, because that defines what Zwift is all about. That would be impossible. It would take so much effort if you want to race with some of your friends from Australia, some of your friends from the States, from my personal aspect. So I just love seeing especially those nations all mixed up into one race.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Now, a lot of chatter coming on through here. No rankings of teams, ranking within the team, overall individual rank. Larry Parker, that is a great shout out. So maybe a feature we definitely need to put a little request in maybe for him from the Cake Man to see if he can throw that in there. But Larry Parker's let us know that there is no rankings for teams. Interesting to see. A little bit more cheering on for the BRT. BRT's got some serious um, ch- uh, individuals and a little bit of peanut gallery out there. It seems like almost in the stands here tonight. Neil Richards with some TV time. We're hearing here as well. And Alexander, I'm not putting that one out there, but thanks a lot for the comment over there as well. Special prize for anybody who can match this Dig Deep coaching. Saying special prize for anyone matching 6.8 watts per kilogram average on the last climb to copy the Wollonga Hilltop finish. Loving that. Well, special prizes at least to get that TV time here. And if you guys didn't know, Dig Deep Coaching in the chat right now. Check out that site. Great. They've done some partnered streams with us before. We've had some of their Stevie Gallagher has been on, one of their head coaches, and we did some analysis from the Tour de France for the entire Tour de France. We would do each stage and look at the watts per kilogram that were put out, and there were these, and we would do Tour de France stage rides out on Zwift, races out on Zwift alongside that, and kind of compare what people were doing in the world of Zwift alongside of the comparisons and the graphics that they put out for each one of the stages. They did a great analysis of the Wollonga Hill climb actually over on their website as well as on their Facebook as well. So make sure you go check that out, Dig Deep Coaching. And they've got a team in game currently using the black and red kit, as you can see here. Dan Fleeman is in their ex-UCI Pro racer here, now riding for DDC here in game. And he was an absolute monster. I believe you casted that with me, Alex. Is that right? I thought you were a part of that broadcast, or at least you were in chat for sure, watching Fleeman on the attack over the top.
But Nathan, we've been doing so many streams together, so it's hard to remember. But for sure, I remember him being up there at one of the races. So just speaking of the power to weight ratio, I was just thinking that that's the one major difference is you don't have any aerodynamics. So if you look at a guy, especially like Lionel, actually, if you look at him, he's sitting up like my grandmother's riding her bike, but he's putting out these crazy wattage, and that just wouldn't fly on the road. So that's just one of the biggest differences. You don't have the frontal area and the aerodynamics. It doesn't reflect anything on Zwift. So you can sit in any position you want. As long as you put out the power, your avatar's going to move.
That is true, but there's a very different aspect, though, then, of how you use the power and its interaction with the game, then, though, too. I've seen some people, especially those, and it's what I do find interesting is that there are setups that are better at certain things, and there is a reality of, how do I say this? So I have what am I using here? I'm using a Razer Death Adder Elite, right? I'm going to go play some Apex later with one of I got a buddy, he's literally top 10 in the world on Apex, all out of all Apex. We're going to stream all night long Apex Legends esports style over on Mixer, and I'm using the Death Adder Elite here specifically to do that. I think there's something similar starting to develop in the Zwift world with esports specific equipment, right? I also have a Logitech G900 here as well. I have my settings to a certain way, right? So I'm using a 600 DPI dots per inch on the screen with an in-game 1.6 sensitivity, and you know, there's all these kind of nerdy things that cyclists are kind of into, though, right? Like, when you're getting your bike set up with, what are you using, right? For me, on the mountain bike, I was like i9s with a very specific inner rim, so that my tire with a 2.2 Schwalbe with the Racing Ralphs are going to spread out exactly how I want it on the really specific dirt, the way that they're going to handle the best, with the right lightweight and my full suspension setup with the right amount of air and all that. You got something similar now going into this gaming situation where, you know, they want a real power meter, right? Because their real power meter is going to have instantaneous power, and they can immediately go into a super tuck, whereas maybe the smart trainer is not going to go so much, but they still want the smart trainer, so they do a dual power source because also verification, but then the reality of the force being pushed back on their legs to produce more power, because when you go uphill, a lot of times you can produce more power because of that force. You know, you have these little intricacies that are starting to open up within the esports world of controlling your avatar and their power that are kind of similar to the techniques that you see in real life as well as other esports.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So you just have to look at it like something completely different than cycling. My main point was that's just something I hear a lot, that you don't have that aerodynamic aspect of, which is really important when you're outside. You can't really put it in the gutter with crosswind, and also you can't tuck down when you're sitting on your bike. Your avatar can tuck, but you can't tuck. So you can basically just sit in any position that's comfortable. So like a bike fit for Swift wouldn't even make any sense other than just your legs would be like to get them optimized. But if your body is sitting high or low, it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, 100%. And people can use whichever position to produce the most power is what they're going to be looking for, that's for sure. Now, looking through here at this flatter section of the course, it's going to be a right-hand turn in just a moment. And we are within 8 kilometers, I believe it is, 8 kilometers to the finish line, but it has got a monstrous climb in front of them. 10 minutes or so to go in this race. Front group here, as you can see, Dan Fleeman still in here. We have a little bit of predictions coming on through. DDC here coming through saying you never know. We've got Larry Parker saying Dan Fleeman for the win. We've also got James Joseph Bars asking who's going to take it. Talbot for the win here coming through from Mike Morris. Talbot's actually in the race. I didn't actually recognize that he was out here.
Can I give a prediction as well?
Yeah, of course, Alex. Let's hear it.
My prediction is Morten Vang from Team Callis. I think he's been showing good form lately, and he's a really, really good climber. So that's going to be... I think Oftedal is going to do the lead out for him into the climb, and then I think Morten Vang is going to do the final attack.
We'll have to wait and see here. I'm looking at Morten Vang, 4.5 watts per kilogram average so far. Putting in a little bit of work, but...
Look at his heart rate.
His very, very low heart rate. Where's the heart rate at here for Morten Vang? We'll have to look through and find the Team Callis rider here. I am seeing Jerkseth's in here as well. Callis has got a lot of riders, actually. It's a good call out, though, that perhaps Altadal is going to try and make something happen. Now, my only hesitation on that is that Vang is not in the overalls, and Almdahl and Altadal are a part of the overalls currently in this series. So perhaps, either way though, Callis is going to try and control this race. And the Vikings are going to be looking to respond because they are all, it's Callis, 1-2, followed up by Steen Lersveen, Edvin Bolton, Karstensen, all coming out of Norway. The Norwegians are dominating the top 5, but it's Callis.
It's going to be a Viking battle.
Right? Yeah, Viking battle fun. Far Up is in there as well at 7th place. The only one that's really mixed things up with them is going to be Highwell Davies, BRT. And we had a prediction in chat, actually, that Davies would take this down. We'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening here. Looking through some more of the results, though. Race 3 hours there, Team Type 1, Cryogen with Josh Harrison that we see in game with the nickname Snagglepuss, so we'll have to see how that ends up working out for him. Ashton from Skylab we saw from WTRL. They're all within the top 10 to 20, so those are some favorites here. I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that Fleeman, for some reason, is showing up specifically for this race today, maybe... that's going to be my prediction. Dan Fleeman, he's going to be able to capitalize today and make it happen because I believe he came across in 2nd place the last time we hyped him up specifically on this climb. So Dan Fleeman for the win, DDC is going to be what I'm going for. Let's hear, what's your prediction? You've heard it from the casters here out here today.
Yeah, I like that prediction, but I think we're also showing some regional allegiance that could be influencing our judgment a little bit. So, but I like your predictions as well. I hope it's going to be... Americans against the Viking.
No, that would be Evoke. I'd have to go full on Evoke then. Actually, I believe Fleeman's coming out of, is it going to be Ireland, if I'm not incorrect? But looking through, currently at least residing in that area of the world, I'm looking for the actual country flag though here, riding in game, and it's going to be Great Britain. But I believe. That definitely, I'll throw a tea party instead and head on over toward to Evoke if you want me to. But I'm good for now.
Yeah, I want you to.
This is going to get nasty. We're hearing from Russ Crowdle here over on the Facebook feed. I'm looking through for some of the Twitch feed as well as the YouTube feed, and I'm hearing from Mr. Steely Dan saying that Steely Dan is saying Talbot for the win. Interesting to see. So Steely Dan saying Talbot as well. Let's hear if you've got any more predictions that are over at Twitch as we are watching that chat a little bit too. All right, we're heading into the climb here right now, and it looks like we've got a lead out, like you said, starting to form at the front here, but I do not believe it's going to be Callus. You said it was, we thought it was going to be Callus, but it looks like it's actually coming from Lau for a moment there. Now Evoke's starting to take over. It looks like Talbot here from Spunk sitting in 7th wheel here. It's going to be bought here from the Vikings, but Pantelier, the man trying to also throw a tea party at the front here and make sure that nothing's happening, but nope, it's going to be Cryogen with Snagglepuss coming over the top. And this is actually 10th place overall currently in this, actually, excuse me, 11th place overall in this series. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a trick section because if you put too much in at this point, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble because this is kind of just the
entree.
Hors d'oeuvres. This is the hors d'oeuvres, right? This is the first serving. We've got a lot more to come.
Yeah, that's what I hate about this true U-turns here, or the two hairpins, is that it's not even started yet. So actually, when you do this Lethal, you're not even officially on the climb here, and I'm already suffering. I'm even suffering just watching this. And so this is just the beginning. It's already splitting up to pieces, and we haven't even started the climb yet. So this is going to be an epic final.
Look at this pack. Look at how completely blown apart this is already from what the CrossGen rider has done. I mean, I haven't seen something splinter this quickly, I don't think, ever before out on Zwift. Look back a little ways here. Completely spread out. It's 4% uphill gradient. That's it at this point here, but Snagglepuss just continues on the front to kick. 6.1 watts per kilogram. We're not even into the proper KOM. It's about a 6 to 7 minute climb from bottom to top once they start the KOM, and this is just the foothills. 6.7. This is Josh Harrison, Team CryoGen, trying to take some time back because he is sitting at 1:58.01 currently, almost a minute and a half back from Callus. But Callus and the Vikings here. Carstensen, that's a 5th place overall in the current GC standings, 5.9 watts per kilogram. Following very closely for the Vikings, right on his wheel, locked on. But look right on the wheel of Carstensen. Dig deep coaching there. Dan Fleeman in the red and black. This is really starting to heat up on course right now.
Yeah, Snagglepuss is almost leading out the entire peloton here. We see Morten Vang is sitting there in the 5th position, sitting comfortably. We see Talbot is up there, and Oftedal is just behind him. So we see Oftedal and Vang, like I was predicting, those two were going to be up there for the final.
Now, this is the elites, though, here, Alex. They have really separated themselves here at this point. I'm looking through, and it looks like we've got probably about 20 riders that have made it. I'm going to take a look quick over at ZwiftPower.com, see what the time gaps are that are updated live here. It does look like we've got far up that's made it. Mark Worthington, Maxim Golev there as well. Bard Anderson, it looks like, from the Vikings team. And it's going to be Bertus Turksma, as well as John Bragensky there, as well as Patrick Davis. That is the lead top 34. It looks like. So about 33 riders actually maybe that have made this lead group here at this point. A couple of them still falling off here though. Now another attack here coming from Josh Harrison. Snagglepuss here. CryoGen now off the front here out of New Zealand. 177 beats per minute. Tries to continue on the attack here. They have not started the official climb just yet. Talbot from Spunk here going across. That's one of the predictions from chat here as well. For some reason they've got him pinned as a rider to watch out for. Fleeman maybe thinking that this is an attack to follow. Now down to a 2% gradient here, and I'm not sure this is going much of anywhere. It might be a waste of effort here at this point to really try and close things down. Vang, your pick, comes across now into the picture, and now I think we're starting to get into the pointy end of the race of who is going to be able to be the elites amongst the elites here.
Yeah, it's definitely stretched out, and like we talked about, it's not even started yet, so for Vang and Oftedal is just about sitting up there so they don't get caught out. We can see it's splitting behind, so these guys just have to chase back, and then you're going to be on the limit when you hit. You're going to be on the limit either way, but it's just much worse that you have to close this gap before you even hit the climb.
Yeah, we do see there is a little bit of a gap. I went up from Davies and BRT here just a moment ago. This is the back of the pack here. They're just getting back on terms. Back at the bottom there, it looks like Talbot Splunk there, as well as Mir from Team Draft, trying to get back onto the pack there. There's two off the back. Let's see if we can see here. Who is this that's trying to get back on terms? It's Rigby from WTRL team, actually. They're in the Neon kit now. It was a 1 second gap back to him, back to the front end of the group. Though we'll see if there's any. Things are calming down here at this point. I think they've all realized nobody's going much of anywhere. There's quite a bit of a draft here, and I think they're really going to try and bring those heart rates back down a little bit because there are some serious inclines about to come, and people are about to throw down some fireworks here. I believe Team Draft here with Mir here. This is the current Canadian national champion. Now 6.6 watts per kilogram coming from him. Now 473 watts. Now making his way to the front. Will Canada be able to represent and take this down here? He's really trying to stay in a great position here to be able to respond to anything. Far up now from Callus. You said that Callus wasn't going to have a lead out man that was going to make the initial attacks, get people to follow. What's the tactic there, Alex? Really, some of these early attacks really just force the other riders to follow things along there, while another rider who's strong enough, they know he's strong enough to follow wheels, sits in a little bit while others instigate. It's a great tactic. Why does that work so well, Alex?
It just works if you have like a punchy guy that you want to eliminate, you just put him in the hurt box like from the beginning of the climb. So let's say you have not a sprinter because a sprinter can't get over here, but like a punchy guy for the finish. If you just put the hurt on like from the bottom of the climb, just use every single guy you have except like your captain or the guy you're actually riding for. You just put the hurt on and you see how small the peloton is already here. And like look at I was just looking at Farab's heart rate. It's only 152, and some of the other guys had like 188, 195 heart rate. So it's just so important that you can stay calm here and get across easy because there's still quite a bit of a climbing left.
Now you can see, yeah, plenty of climbing left to go here. As you can see, Mir now making his way to the front. We have started the KOM official here at this point. Let's take a quick little look to the front here. It looks like Talbot here. Now this is the kick. Now these are the real moves
Whoa.
here. When we start to see the orange numbers, he went to 10 watts per kilogram here. He's looking to get a gap, but this is
Look at his
from
heart rate.
pretty far out here. 190 beats per minute. How long can Spunk do this for here? Pantaleer looking to follow Evoke here. We didn't mention them too much actually to be some of the favorites right now. Looking to upset things a little bit there. Dan Fleeman going across here. Now the three that are really looking to be the cream of the crop here, but it's going to be Vang along with Off the Dial. Callus here, not getting too out of control. Responding little by little here. Can they slowly pull this back? Are they assuming that they cannot hold this kind of a pace all the way to the finish line? This is the situation. Fleeman going over the top. Fleeman responding with 8 watts per kilogram into the 9-10% gradient. These are the sections that matter the most. When it gets into these kind of gradients, Alex, this is when the race is decided because the most amount of time can really be made.
This is insane. I never seen anybody like in the orange numbers for so long. Like they just kept going in the orange numbers, and I don't think Vang and Oftedal actually can do anything. I don't think they're trying to bring it back. I think they're sitting on what they can do actually. So that was quite an attack from Fleeman, and Talbot is following him, and now they've gone down into the 7s, but that's still pretty hard, and the heart rate is all up there in the 190s almost.
Yeah, this is Fleeman still up the front, continues to attack 10% here, Alex. Is he going to make this happen here? It looks like we're back with Morten Vang. This was one of the favorites we were talking about. Callus, these are the leaders currently in the series right now, all kind of coalesced together here. The Vikings trying to respond, Pantaleer trying to respond. Talbot's up ahead by about 8 seconds. This is the main chase group, but Fleeman still off the front here as Talbot looks to try and come across, but it's a 3-second gap back from Talbot. From Talbot to Dan Fleeman here, and DDC looks to be taking this down. We're into the 12% gradient, and he has huge wattage still to give. Continues to kick nonstop. I was told last summer DDC is going to be showing up this Zwift season. We've got a team, and we're ready. And obviously, Fleeman was one to be watching out for, one of their riders that they were really focusing in on here, and it looks like Dan Fleeman may be walking away with this one. 15 seconds at this point. It's just going to be about staying consistent.
Yeah, he's going to walk away that easy. Talbot's already just given up and focusing on second place because it's going to be impossible to catch Fleeman back. I was just impressed that he was staying at 7.5. Now he goes out of the saddle again. Like he keeps kicking. So when it goes down under 10, he just relaxes for like 2 seconds, and then he just kicks again. And normally you need much more recovery, but he can just kick, and it's just look at it how long the climb is.
I think that DDC has been training, Fleeman and a few of the others from the team here specifically for this esports season here out on Zwift, and he is showing that they have amazing know-how, not only in the game but in getting their riders into peak condition here. Coming over the top here, this is going to be for the win right now. 11% gradient. This is such a brutal course and such a brutal finish. Flattens
Yeah.
out for just a moment, but that is going to be for the win. Has time, throws the hands in the air, most likely back at home here, and it takes down that climb. That is the kick to the line here. Let's go ahead and see if we can move our way backwards here. It's going to be Talbot, the next one across the line now, taking down the win. Or they're taking down second place here. Now we got Taisu here, it looks like, trying to come across the line out of Korea. Oftedal coming through for fourth place. That is going to be the first Callus rider, actually, with Lau here now coming on through for, I believe, fifth place there. Jerks from Callus, completely splintered. This race was blown apart by DDC here. Farb now coming through here for the Vikings team. And then GR here coming over the top, it looks like. DDC here as well with Addison then, followed up by Vang. Wigforce here from Team SZ. Brooks from Vision right behind Vang, it looks like. Vikings now suffering a little bit here. This mountaintop finish, this K1 finish, this is going to put a little bit of an upset here in how close things have been, I think, for these races, with the GC contention. I think it's really going to change things up.
It's definitely going to shake things up. And I was just want to get your take. I actually think this climb is much harder than the one in Bologna. I don't know what you think, Nathan.
Oh, I don't know. Bologna is... I don't know. I have nightmares. No, I'm just kidding. Bologna is a whole nother world. Okay, literally it's a whole nother world. But I mean I don't know. I'd have to say Bologna maybe takes the cake just a little bit. Looking at the 413, Leith Hill. Look at the differences here in the time gaps. I mean, what an amazing job there from DDC.
I would still be down in the hairpins after 4 minutes.
Still down in the hair, right? I mean, wow, great job there from Fleeman. Amazing job. Great prediction there coming through from Larry Parker on who is going to take down the win out here today. I'm going to see if I can get a quick little replay out for the win there coming from Fleeman as he was able to roll across the line. And it does look like I do have something here. This was one of the attacks, I think, from earlier on, actually, from Fleeman, as he came through 7.5 watts per kilogram. This is where he really, this was just kind of the icing on the cake, I think, at this point, to try and just open up
I think he kicked like 5 times, so and it looked the same each time, and his heart rate was staying close to 190. That was so impressive that he didn't need to like just sit down and breathe for a couple of seconds. It just seemed like he kept kicking.
Yeah, amazing job there, obviously. That was the attacks over the top there for the win, coming through for DDC. And then it was obviously Talbot there coming through for second place. So great job all around here. I'm going to do a quick little readout of the results as they turned out. And it does look like it is Dan Fleeman there, averaging 4.6 watts per kilogram on the day. For DDC, 57.19 was the total time, 11.9 seconds ahead of David Talbot for Team Splunk. He averaged about 4.5 over on the top. There will be a DQ for Park Tae-Soo. Not exactly sure why, but we'll have to talk to at least the preliminary. Now, these are preliminary results. We are not race organizers. We are broadcasting and commentators, but according to ZP Zwift Power, that's what things are at, and anything that does change will be up to the race organizers. But for third place then on the day with preliminary results with Christian Oftedal from the Callus Racing team, Sarah Lau there for BRT coming through in fourth, Ovden Jerksis, and then Neil Richards. John Addison, also DDC in 8th place. Morton Vang 9th. And rounding out the top 10 will be Johan Rigsfors for Team SZ. That's the situation out there. Sean Pantler fell back all the way to 15 as well as Highwell Davies. This is going to really shake things up in the GC. For those in the top 16 right now, it is a 48-second difference actually from first all the way through 16th. So these K1 finishes really giving the opportunity for the riders to separate themselves out there, Alex.
Yeah, actually, I think you can separate yourself even more than you can on the next stage, which is a TT. But that's going to give some of the other riders a chance to make up for the loss today. But I totally agree with you. The mountaintop finishes are much more, much bigger time differences than even the time trial, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And so I am being told that the rider that did get the queue, he just simply was not registered on ZwiftPower.com. So that would be the
Okay.
reason why, actually. So obviously, if you're not registered, you can't get into the results. So make sure that you are doing so when you do jump into these community organizations. If you do care to be a part of the results, it does help out a lot with all of the tracking. So we'll be back tomorrow with more racing. Make sure to check that out. Watch out for the scheduled broadcast. I believe we're doing Fiats tomorrow. It is a great course to be on tomorrow. We're on the UCI Richmond course, I believe, for 2 laps. One of the best racing courses that there are out on Zwift. We'll be out there for the Callis Cup as well on Thursday. And then Friday, we've got Pro-Am Racing Tour de Zwift. I mean, it is nonstop esports here in this winter and Zwift season. Alex, really excited, and thanks a lot for joining the commentary and all of the color that you bring to it here, Alex. And we'll see you for the next race out on Zwift.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan.
Of course, as always, Alex. Cheers, and everybody out there, if you haven't done so already, hit those follow buttons wherever you like to watch the broadcast. If you prefer YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, whichever one you want. But if you want to know when we're live, turn on that little notification bell. It'll push to your phone or wherever it needs to push to, and you will know when we are live. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Great job to all the racers out there. Again, the results are over on ZwiftPower.com. I'm Nathan Garrett, Zwift Community Live, and that is going to be it for us for today. As always, everybody, ride on.